Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
And this is a special Western edition. Good evening. The Super Tuesday presidential primary storyline so far. Do the math. On the Republican side, McCain loses the had-to-have state of Ohio to Bush. Bush racks up wins as well in Georgia and Missouri. McCain has picked up 3 New England states, but that may not be enough to make up for his losses elsewhere. Keep in mind, polls are still open in the 2 biggest Super Tuesday states, New York and California. Democrat Al Gore scores over Bradley in state after state, including a win just now in Maine. Gore has won every state called so far tonight. Political strategists on all sides say it's hard to see how McCain stays in now and why Bradley isn't out after tonight. Here's why. On the Republican side, nationally up to now, Bush has won more than 1/3 of the delegates he needs for the nomination, well up on McCain. And that's without New York and California, where the polls are still open. On the Democratic side, Gore, with a commanding lead over Bradley, nearly halfway home to the nomination. Joining me now with more numbers and analysis, CBS News correspondent Bob Schieffer. Bob?
Well, Dan, on the Republican side, John McCain's wins in Connecticut and Massachusetts just underline what we've seen all night. The only region he seems to be running strong in is in the Northeast. It's the one part of the country where his reform message seems to sell. Remember, he won his first primary in New Hampshire. It does not seem to be working, though, as you move west. Polls are still open in California, but let's look at the story there. 79% of the voters there give Bush a favorable rating. That's one of his highest ratings in the country. McCain was well liked too, but not like Bush in California. California does not seem to be taking to McCain's criticism of the religious right. Nearly half the voters in California thought McCain's attacks on Bush were unfair, considerably more than considered Bush's attacks on McCain unfair. And in fact, nearly 40% of the California voters said McCain's attacks affected their vote. That was also the case we saw in Ohio tonight. Voters there rejected McCain's criticism in a big way, again saying they thought the attacks were unfair. It is going to be a while, Dan, as you said, before we know what happens in New York, where McCain's arguments seem to play better. But I have to say, with Bush's big win in Ohio today, his other victories, you have to believe that McCain must soon start considering whether he intends to go on with this. Next week, of course, you have all those southern primaries, including Texas and Florida, and Bush is the favorite in all of those, Dan.
Bob, thanks. CBS's Bill Whitaker tonight is covering the feeling triumphant but trying not to appear to be gloating Bush campaign. Bill?
Dan, all day the Bush campaign tried not to seem overconfident. But in truth, they viewed this Super Tuesday more like Mardi Gras, a day when all their money and all their early work would pay off and cause them to celebrate.
The tip-off? They're talking more about a general election against Al Gore than the current contest with John McCain and Alan Keyes.
The ultimate mission is for our party and our philosophy to regain the White House.
Back in Austin, the Texas governor attended to state business today and scoffed at charges he's climbed to the top by wallowing in the mud. McCain lodged a federal complaint about one pro-Bush ad and called another by this woman, Jerry Barish, accusing McCain of opposing breast cancer research, a shameful distortion of his record.
And no, I don't have any regrets because it's the truth.
You cannot inject, as Senator McCain did, these valuable programs into a campaign in the context of being, quote, garden variety pork, and then squeal when people call your hand on it.
And you maintain these ads are not misleading?
You bet, you bet.
Not deceptive?
Absolutely.
Despite the bitter tone of this GOP contest, Bush says it's done no harm to the party.
The primaries are tough because we're, arguing amongst a political family. But there's going to be ample time to heal wounds that exist, and I'm confident we'll be able to do so.
Now, Bush just told reporters that he's doing great, and the exit polls bode well for him. The same issues and personal qualities that drove people in the early races seem to be motivating voters in California, too. Dan?
Bill Whitaker for more tonight about what's going on inside the McCain camp and what may be next for McCain after Super Tuesday. We take you to CBS's Phil Jones. Phil?
Senator McCain so far, but they are sending releases. And in this first release, they thank the voters in the East and New England for what they have done for McCain. And McCain claims that his message of reform has had an impact there. They've just put out another release indicating that he's going to go on, McCain to campaign in Colorado and Illinois. But even before the votes started coming in tonight, McCain considered himself a winner, because when this all began, no one gave him a chance to still be around on this night of Super Tuesday.
Here we are.
As voters here in California and a dozen other states went to the polls today, the maverick who took on his traditional party faithful, the so-called establishment, was on the second floor of this Beverly Hills hotel, looking relaxed but clearly anxious. He spent part of his time on the phone chatting with radio talk show hosts on both coasts. One of the questions, would he consider being Bush's vice president?
Under no circumstances would I consider being vice president of the United States or running for it.
Rick Davis, McCain's campaign manager, told me today the biggest surprise, how dirty the campaign has gotten.
It's gotten worse than we ever imagined it would.
Why?
I think the fear of losing. I mean, you know, John McCain, throughout the course of this campaign, has stood up in front of audience after audience. And he said, I'm having a great time in this campaign, and one of the reasons is because I'm not afraid of losing. My greatest concern for the Bush campaign is they'll do anything to win because they are afraid of losing.
There are deep and bleeding wounds from this battle. McCain says publicly that he thinks that Bush is qualified to be president, but privately the feeling within the McCain camp is simply they don't think that George W. Bush will ever be elected president. And
Phil Jones, just before broadcast time, a deeply disappointed key member of McCain's team told CBS News McCain, quote, realizes he now leads a reform movement favored by perhaps as many as 25% of the American electorate. He has not decided what to do about that, but he'll think it through the next few days, unquote. A possible move to making an independent run for president, quote, he hasn't really thought about that, but he will now, unquote. Some of McCain's top people are known to feel he needs to win today's popular vote in California to make a credible independent run. Now, about the Democrats this Super Tuesday. Again tonight, CBS's John Roberts is all over Bradley Gore and whether it's all over for Bradley. John?
Dan, the celebration has started here in Nashville, and the Gore campaign is saying that the way the results have stacked up so far shows that the Democratic Party is united this Super Tuesday, and that Gore has broad support among the core Democratic constituency of men, women, minorities, and union workers. They also say it's an indication that Gore is in command of the big issues in this election, education, health care, and the economy, and it's a sign of how far he's come since the fall when Bill Bradley was in the lead.
Gore sought to own every state in this primary and found victory tonight in Bill Bradley's backyard, Missouri, where he boldly stumped for votes this morning.
Good to see you. I'd like to have your support. You got it. Thank you, sir.
Flying high aboard Air Force Two, Gore's only worry was that voters would think there's no contest and stay home.
It's a crucial few hours that remain before the polls close, so just keep pushing hard to get everybody out to the polls.
But with the campaign machine on autopilot, his closest advisors are already posturing for the general election. Spinning Gore as the mainstream candidate and George Bush is extreme.
With a budget-busting tax cut that favors the wealthy, with an extreme position against gun control and an extreme position against a woman's right to choose, I think we'll do very well against that kind of candidate.
Now, Gore knows he can't win the general election just with the Democratic core, so watch for him tonight to reach out to independent and independent-minded Republican voters. Also watch for him tonight to issue to George Bush the same challenge he gave to Bill Bradley, to drop 30 and 60-second advertisements in favor of twice-weekly debates. Dan?
John Roberts, for the very latest Super Tuesday primary results and savvy analysis, check out our CBS News Campaign 2000 website at cbs.com. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a big Wall Street sell-off, sponsored in part by the makers of some of your favorite wash day products. And later, protests this Super Tuesday against another governor named Bush.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
My headaches just knock me out, right out of commission.
I get back pain. It can be brutal sometimes.
Arthritis pain in my shoulder.
There's so many reasons why people use pain relievers. And these days, so many choices as well.
I think they're all about the same, pretty much.
Actually, not all pain relievers are the same. Sometimes pain relievers like aspirin and even ibuprofen can cause stomach irritation. And in some cases, this irritation can occur without any symptoms.
I didn't know aspirin could do that.
One pain reliever that won't cause that kind of stomach irritation is the medicine in Tylenol. Nothing has been proven safer for your stomach than Tylenol. Questions? Talk to your doctor.
Vegetables know what they like. Introducing Taste of Life dressings, new from Kraft. They're enriched with vitamin E and made with stuff your salad will love. New Taste of Life dressings from Kraft.
Give me the chili.
It's hot.
It's the way I like it.
Eat like a kid again. Tagamet stops stomach acid faster than Pepsid. The kid is back.
Chili's still hot.
Yeah.
Before any polls closed, before a single vote was counted, the biggest loser this Super Tuesday was the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 374 points. That's the fourth biggest point drop ever. It amounts to a loss of more than 3.5%. The Dow is now down 15% for the year. Leading the decline today, Procter & Gamble plunging 27 points after the company predicted a big drop in earnings. Adding to the jitters, rising oil prices and interest rates. As the Dow was falling today, the tech-heavy NASDAQ traded above 5,000 for the first time ever before falling back to close with a 57-point loss. Also on the CBS Market Watch, the U.S. government reported that worker productivity in this country soared 6.4% in the final quarter of last year. That's good. It's a key to holding down inflation. And as CBS's Anthony Mason reports, the credit goes to the American worker and the new e-economy.
I noticed that you hadn't logged in yet.
You're watching an internet auction.
Go ahead and start with 10.
But they're not bidding on Beanie Babies here. This is a business-to-business auction.
There's the first bid.
Through the free market site in Pittsburgh, companies bid down the price to sell each other everything from shipping pallets to circuit boards.
One supplier bids $1 million. I'll do that for $1 million. Another one comes back, I'll do it for $995. Another one comes back, I'll do it for $990, $985.
Glenn Meekum's company is a prime example of what Alan Greenspan means when he says technology is making the economy more productive.
We're doing things that human beings could not have done without the technology.
When Pittsburgh's Allegheny Ludlam needed a key component to make stainless steel, instead of calling a few suppliers, they put the contract up for auction at free markets. Today, Chairman Richard Simmons is watching the bids come in, the price go down, and his company save money.
What did you need to do this before?
First of all, we couldn't do it before because it was impossible, no matter how good our purchasing department was.
Now a company can get bids from all over the world.
524, who's only in 5.
An executive sitting in their office in Chicago can be bidding in real time against somebody else sitting in Singapore.
Sí, está muy bien.
How many languages do you speak here?
Over 30.
Número 15.
You lose the paper handling, the filling out of forms, the purchase order, and so on.
Internet consultant David Pico says the internet will even change the way a company orders office supplies.
And in the early results, it looks like about 65% of the transaction cost can come out if you do the business over the internet.
Now at Allegheny Ludlam, they can produce more stainless steel for less money, and productivity rises.
It's going to change the way we do business, the way our customers do business, and the way our suppliers do business. Business will never be the same.
So on the free market screens in Pittsburgh, you're not just watching an auction, you're watching a revolution. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Pittsburgh.
Ahead on CBS, the death of a first grader adds to the pressure for tougher gun control laws.
Our major focus for 50 years has been managing people's money. That's the heritage, it's the foundation of what we do. Whether you're investing online, whether you're investing directly, whether you're doing it over the telephone or through an advisor, it's your money, you ought to invest responsibly. When you come to Fidelity.com, the discipline, the research analysis, the sense of responsibility will not change. Those are Fidelity principles.
Well?
I asked my doctor about Lipitor.
Ask your doctor what Lipitor can do for you, or call 1-888-LIPITOR to learn more. Lipitor.
Ask your doctor about Nasonex, the prescription nasal allergy spray that's non-drowsy and won't keep you up at night, taken once a day for relief from nasal allergy worries indoors and out. Approved for children 3 years and up. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing. Nasonex, because the less to worry about, the better.
Our eyes have natural moisturizers, tears, so we took ingredients found in natural tears, added more moisturizers than any leading drop, and put them in Visine Tears. For soothing relief, Visine Tears. It gets the dry out.
Hi, I'm Lynette Jennings. If you were to take one room, a bathroom for instance, and 4 people with very different decorating styles, and they shop at the Home Depot, what do you think you're going to get? 4 very different rooms. And 4 very happy people. The Home Depot. Everything you need to create the look you want.
President Clinton met today with congressional leaders pushing them for new gun control laws in response to more shocking gun violence. It's been a week since a 6-year-old Michigan girl was shot dead by another 6-year-old. As CBS's Diana Olick reports, the little girl's death has many wondering what, if anything, more can be done, and asking why Congress hasn't done anything for months.
As friends and neighbors struggle to understand how little Kayla Rollin could be gunned down by a fellow first grader, just-released 911 tapes recount the terrifying moments that followed the shooting. As news channels replayed those words throughout the day, President Clinton summoned congressional leaders to the White House in an attempt to break the logjam on a gun control bill.
Congress has kept the American people waiting long enough. I want Congress to finish the gun bill and send it to me for the anniversary of the Columbine tragedy, April 20th.
But that is unlikely. Even as the president met with Kayla's mother today, he admitted he couldn't promise her a gun bill, and here's why. Last spring, the Republican Senate passed a gun control bill which included mandatory background checks at gun shows, child safety locks, and a ban on assault weapons for juveniles. But the Republican-controlled House deadlocked on the gun show provision and wouldn't pass the same bill.
People are wondering, what in the devil are we doing?
There has been no movement in 7 months, despite several highly publicized shootings.
None of what we're talking about is going to solve that. And frankly, none of what we're talking about would have solved Columbine or West Paducah or Seattle or Hawaii.
And in an election year, some charge the politicians would rather have a divisive issue than pass a gun bill. Congressional leaders refuse even to call a meeting of negotiators. Instead, they're caught in an epidemic of finger-pointing. Diana Olick, CBS News at the White House.
In a controversial call, the president has decided to visit Pakistan later this month, along with previously scheduled stops in India and Bangladesh. One reason for the visit, U.S. officials are worried that a war could break out between Pakistan and India. Another is the communist Chinese government wanted the president to go. A senior Clinton administration official says tensions in the region are higher than at any time since the two countries, India and Pakistan, went to war 29 years ago. Ahead on CBS, Florida's Governor Bush wants to end affirmative action. Protesters say they won't go back.
How long does it take for a kid to pick up a cold?
A split second. So I asked my pediatrician what she uses. She said Lysol disinfectant spray.
Lysol disinfectant spray kills 99.9% of illness-causing viruses in seconds, like rhinovirus that can cause colds. No spray kills more.
No wonder pediatricians use Lysol spray in their own homes.
Lysol spray beats viruses. Nothing beats Lysol spray.
It's taken thousands of hours of work for us to reach these numbers. But for you to reach us, all you need is this number. 1-800-4-STRONG. You're one call away from a strong portfolio.
Nobody does it like you.
The new Hoover Steam Vac Light Path sends hot water surging through 6 rotating brushes to stir up and pull out dirt others may leave behind. If you want clean, Hoover. Deep down, you want Hoover.
Good evening, Bethlehem.
Alfred.
I've stepped up safety in the Batmobile, sir.
Really?
Should a villain steal it, someone will track it. If your airbag goes off, an advisor will assist you. If you're stranded, satellites will help locate you.
And where have you put all these things?
Just press the OnStar button, sir.
Well done, Alfred.
My pleasure, sir.
OnStar, how can I help you, Batman?
In clinical studies, a leading pain medicine significantly reduced minor arthritis pain, increasing range of motion and flexibility. You may be surprised. The medicine in these studies wasn't a pill. It was Bengay. And now, when you use ultra-strength Bengay for your aches and pains, you get the heating power of 3 pain relievers to help you feel better and move better. Ultra-strength Bengay, medicine for your moving parts.
In Florida, this is not exactly a Super Tuesday for the other Governor Bush, George W.'s younger brother Jeb. His decision to scrap affirmative action programs in Florida sparked a massive protest today in the state capitol. The governor calls his plan, quote, racial progress, but as CBS's Byron Pitts reports, others call it rolling back the clock.
Men, women, and children by the thousands took a page out of history when they took to the streets of Tallahassee this morning.
Right here, it's all about this.
35 years ago to the day, demonstrators marched for the right to vote in Selma, Alabama. Blacks and whites marched in support of affirmative action in Florida.
No more Bush! No more Bush!
An estimated 10,000 angry voices, the largest demonstration in state history. Every sign, every speaker opposed to what's called the One Florida Plan, an executive order signed by Republican Governor Jeb Bush that did away with racial preferences for college admissions and state contracts.
We're not fighting for privileges. We're fighting for access to the American tree of life for all Americans and leave nobody, black or white, behind.
But despite this demonstration, polls show most Floridians support the governor's plan. It's a plan, he says, that's already working.
Let the governor be received!
As the rally went on outside the State House, the governor was inside delivering his State of the State address.
This year, more minority students will be admitted to our university system than last year. This year, the agencies that report to me will do more business with minority-owned businesses than the previous year.
Backed by a Republican-led legislature, few believe Bush will be swayed by the protests and passions of people who didn't put him in office in the first place. But like the demonstrators in Selma 35 years ago who were beat back with nightsticks and tear gas, those who gathered today said they'll be back here or in court. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Tallahassee.
On the CBS Health Watch tonight, another dose of encouraging news for heart failure patients taking one so-called beta blocker. A new study of 4,000 patients shows that in addition to saving lives, the beta blocker also appears to ease symptoms and reduce hospitalizations. The drug is awaiting FDA approval. CBS Evening News next. Why not everyone is pleased about an unprecedented papal apology for sins of the church.
I've taken control of my life. I eat right, exercise, drink lots of water, and I keep up on things that affect my health, like estrogen loss. My doctor said if you don't replace estrogen that you lose at menopause, your risk for certain age-related diseases could increase. He said estrogen loss at menopause can lead to osteoporosis.
Estrogen loss can also cause symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, and vaginal dryness, which can make intimacy uncomfortable. Studies show that menopause contributes to heart disease. Additional ongoing studies are investigating the connection between menopause and colon cancer, memory loss, sight loss, and tooth loss.
There's nothing more important than protecting your health.
Talk to your doctor about menopause and which therapy impacts more of the health issues that concern you. Because not all therapies for menopausal conditions are the same.
Believe me, the time to protect your future is now.
In my games, what I'm trying to create are these fantastic experiences that kind of go beyond the experiences of normal life. So what I was doing here was something I'd seen my father do on Skylab to create artificial gravity. Merrill Lynch has managed to allow me to fund my creative activities. John's listened to me as an investor. He's been able to understand my needs and engineer a plan to get me there. My next next goal is to be able to buy a flight into space.
If it isn't purple, it isn't Prilosec. Isn't it Prilosec time for you? Ask your doctor about the purple pill they call Prilosec.
Enterprise? You rented our car from Enterprise?
Yeah.
Why Enterprise?
Because they pick us up. Free.
A free pickup? Wow, they ought to be number one.
They are number one.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The Vatican confirmed today that Pope John Paul on Sunday will deliver an historic mea culpa. He'll seek pardon for various Roman Catholic Church actions over the centuries. But coming barely a week before the Pope's dramatic trip to the Holy Land, what the Pope plans to say about the Holocaust has some less than satisfied. CBS's Mark Phillips reports why.
Pope John Paul II, always determined to make history, not merely be carried along by it, will issue a sweeping, unprecedented apology next Sunday for sins committed by the Catholic Church over the past 2,000 years. A Vatican document issued today asked forgiveness for excesses committed in its name, persecution of non-Christians during the Crusades, torture of the insufficiently righteous during the Inquisition. But the role of the Church during the Second World War, when Pope Pius XII refused to publicly condemn the Holocaust, is only dealt with in general terms. Anti-Semitism is called a sin, but the Church says the jury of history is still out on Pius's inaction.
There are people, also Jews, who think that Pius XII has worked very well for them.
But many as well, as you know, who don't, and who are looking for this document.
We try to be honest.
But not honest enough, say people who have studied this dark period.
Papacy can do no wrong, so I think that hell will freeze over before a pope in modern times will criticize a predecessor. And this goes for Pius XII as well.
In making this historic confession, the Vatican is in a way looking for exoneration, trying to wipe the slate clean. But while that may satisfy many within the Church, it's doubtful it'll satisfy everyone outside. Many of Rome's Jews, survivors of a community decimated by the Nazis on the Vatican's doorstep, wanted more.
The document raises more questions than it gives answers.
The Catholic Church has asked for forgiveness for its sins, but admits that can only come from a higher power. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Rome.
And that's part of our world tonight. Stay with CBS News and this CBS station for Super Tuesday updates throughout the evening. On tonight's 60 Minutes 2, we'll have the very latest returns, interviews with the candidates, and more. About the more, Scott Pelley has a preview.
In Michigan, they're trying to decide what to do with their first-grade killer, a tough decision in a town where, incredibly, this has happened before. And what do you call a building where thousands of people work in toxic conditions? The Pentagon, like you've never seen it before.
60 Minutes 2 tonight at 9, 8 Central Time. I'll see you again in just a few moments with some results.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at